Hello, third grade. Today in art class, we are drawing texture cakes. We have two really big concepts in art we're going to be reviewing. The first one is texture, and that's what you can see on these examples I have in front of me. I have the texture of spiky. I've got these spikes coming out of the cake, so if I took my hand and I reached onto my cake and I touched it, it would be sharp. It looks like it's a porcupine or it has these spikes out of it. That is the texture of the cake. If I reached out and I touched this cake, it looks gooey or slimy because of these drips that I made. The texture of this cake would be gooey. So I could literally see how it would feel. That is how you guys are going to be designing your cakes as well. You need to think about if you're going to have a silly cake that might be a fluffy cake or a cake that is dangerous and spiky like mine. Or maybe you want a normal cake that is smooth and you can just see the texture of the icing. The other concept we have talked about is form. Form is a 3D shape. We're trying to make this three-dimensional or 3D by making it look like we've taken a slice out of a whole cake. We're drawing the shape of a cylinder and cutting a slice out of it. We're also going to show perspective by drawing a oval for the plate. And next time I see you, we'll color it in with markers and crayons, but just today, we're going to be really going slow and working on drawing in pencil and then outlining with marker. All right, so I have my supplies in front of me. I have my pencil with an eraser at the end, my Sharpie marker, as well as a blank new piece of paper. We're drawing big today, so please make sure you have a whole piece of paper that you can use. I'm going to teach you step by step how we make this cake shape. We're going to do little steps to make that big picture. So, for the first step to make that slice, I want you guys to draw an arrow. My arrow are two diagonal lines, kind of wide. Looks like a triangle without a bottom, and a line going through the middle, going all the way down. This line is a lot longer than these lines up here. Once you've done this, I'm going to have you complete the headless stick figure. So, almost as if I was drawing a stick figure, I'm putting legs on the bottom of that line, and these diagonal lines should match these lines up here. So it kind of looks like a stick figure without a head. His arms and his legs. But I want to make sure that these diagonal slanted lines match the same direction as these guys up here. My next step is to take one line and connect and kind of close these slanted lines by connecting them with a long line. This shape that we're making now should almost look like an open birthday card, or it should look like a book. Here is our slice. To draw the rest of the cake, I'm going to start on one of the corners. So see where my pencil is on this corner? I'm going to slowly wrap it around to make the top of the cake a three-dimensional oval to look like the very top of the cake. For this, I want you to draw lightly. I wrap my circle all the way around. I start at one corner and I wrap it around and I end at the other corner. When we sketch, we want to draw very lightly so it's easier to erase. If you dig your pencil in too far in your paper, it'll make it more challenging to erase. All right, so I've got the top of my cake. I've got the slice of my cake. I now have to make the bottom. And what this is just a curve line or a rainbow line on the bottom, another curve line on the bottom over here, and one line to connect the top of the cake to the bottom of the cake. Top of the cake to the bottom of the cake. And there you go. You have the structure of our cake. We need to add details. We need to think about what texture you want. I've got the spiky cake, as well as this example of the gooey cake. I've got those drips coming off of it. Think about what texture you want. Is it a bubbly cake? Is it a wavy cake, fluffy cake? Think about how you want to decorate it. For this one, maybe I'll do a fluffy cake, as if this is made of fluffy marshmallow. I'm going to go back around my cake by making kind of a fluffy line, because I want to add that texture. I'm going to also make that fluffy line down here, around the edge on the bottom, and also on the sides, so it looks fluffy. I'm just making little rainbow lines to make it look like a bunny hop line. In the inside of my cake, we want it to look like when we cut in there that there's frosting in between the layers of cake. So I want to make one layer by making two lines next to each other going diagonal. This line is the same direction as this slice line up here. I'm going to make another one down here to make it look like there's layers of that cake and there's some frosting in between. And I do the same thing on this side, following those lines to match the slice lines on the top and the bottom to make it look like we've got some icing in there. All right, I am getting hungry just making this. I don't know about you guys. Inside here, I still want to make it look like it's fluffy, so I'm actually going to draw that puff line on it. Remember, you guys can do whatever you want for your cake. You should be designing it however you would prefer. So I'm making the fluffy line. And for the cake slices, if you've ever seen a cake, it's like spongy or crumbly. So what I did on this one is I made polka dots, tiny, tiny dots going on the layers of the cake part, not the frosting. I'm going to quickly do that too. All right, I think I'm going to add a few more puffs up here so it looks still fluffy. If you're making it smooth, maybe you make some decorations, or if you're making a gooey one, you can make some drip marks to make it look like it's oozing. And if you would like to make some candles, if it was somebody's birthday or like a flag, maybe some cute decorations, you can put it up here. Maybe I'll just make a rainbow decoration. All right, so finishing touch, let's make a plate around this cake so it doesn't look like it's floating in space. Since I've made such a big cake, I'm not going to see too much plate actually. I'm just going to make a curve line that looks very similar to that curve of the cake down here, this curve line. I'm making this line go all the way under as if I'm about to circle the cake, but then I stop at the edge of my paper. I'm going to have it peek out behind my cake. I almost can just make this a straight line so it looks like it's sitting on this plate. On this cake, so I had more room for a tablecloth and a wall. You are more than welcome to design a wall if you'd like. Maybe if you want to put bakery or your name up here, you're more than welcome to do that. But for today, 3rd grade, your job is to draw your texture cake. It should look like it has a feel to it. I should look like I can reach out and poke your cake and feel something, like spikes or goo or this fluffy cake. You guys have the option to outline. I love outlining because it makes everything pop out. See how this one really stands out and this one still looks really good, but it's a little bit faded. I'm going to take one moment to outline this all the way so you can see the difference between outlining and not outlining. All right, so I've got my fluffy cake, my spiky cake, and I even have the example of my gooey cake. This one's already colored, so don't worry about that. We're only worrying about these cakes because for today, when you are done 3rd grade, you're going to turn in a photo or video of your finished cake, just drawn and just outlined. No need to color. We'll focus on coloring and all of that next time I see you. Please take your time to create these cakes, and I will see you next time we have art. Happy creating!